I'm so grateful that I could be here. And thank you, everyone who helped put this together. And thank you all for a wonderful turnout here. Candace would be happy. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. So I wrote some words on the plane yesterday. I flew in from California with my partner, Beth. And I hope it gives you a sense of the history of Candida Royalle's enormous contribution to Club 90, and also simultaneously expresses my deep love for Candida. Thank you, Candace, for starting the world's first porn star support group in 1983. The first meetings were at my apartment at 90 Lexington Avenue, hence the name Club 90. Every few weeks, we would sit in a circle and share intimate details of our lives. We helped each other imagine our life's dreams. We were the original Sex and the City girls long before Sex and the City. We continued to meet and support each other for 32 years. And today, most all of our biggest, wildest dreams came true. Candace, you take our deepest secrets to your grave. Thank you, Candace, for enticing a whole bunch of us from the sex industry to go to your talk therapist, Linda Hirsch. Before becoming a therapist, Linda had been a street prostitute and drug addict, so she was very non-judgmental, and she was very wise. We were struggling to figure out who we were and why we did the things that we did and why we chose the lives we had. We all learned about ourselves together, and Candace taught us so much. Thank you, Candace, for proposing Club 90 create a performance art piece about our group when you saw a call for collaborators from the women's art collective Carnival Knowledge in 1984. The collective was raising the question, can there be a feminist pornography? In response to the censorious group Women Against Porn. We thought that feminist porn might be possible. During that performance art piece, Deep Inside Porn Stars, at Martha Wilson's Franklin Furnace in Soho, that bonded our group together very strongly through art. Thank you, Candace, for making hardcore sex films about love. That was so radically transgressive, as was being one of the first to have safer sex in porn. You risk losing it all to protect your talent. Thank you, Candace, for giving me and my Club 90 sisters the opportunity to write and direct our own movie for your AthenaProductions, the Star Directors series. Doing it for ourselves and doing it our way was so empowering. Thank you for letting us support you. I was honored to host you and my Club 90 sisters when you came to San Francisco in 2014 to be awarded your doctoral degrees. If they could see us now, that little gang of ours at Show World Center, all doctors. Thank you, Candace, for your forgiveness whenever I transgressed and caused you pain, and she was very nice about it. Thank you for singing us the tomato song, the famous tomato song. And after you and I became ecosexuals, the tomato song took on a whole new meaning. Thank you, Candace, for the long phone chat a week before you died when you shared how excruciating your pain was and how you had just had a really good cry when you looked into the closet and realized that you could not ever wear any of your party dresses again. That really touched me, and you showed us how to die with so much dignity. Thank you, Candace, for caring for the birds. She loved the birds. She fed them and cared for them all year round. After you died, many of us had some very unusual bird sightings. There were white doves in places people had never seen a white dove before. There was a great blue heron that landed right in front of me, and an eagle showed up in San Francisco at her memorial. No one had ever seen an eagle in San Francisco before. So whenever I see a special bird, I will always think of you. Thank you, Candace. You will live on in the hearts and clits of Club 90.
Club 90 originally started out, of course, Sue Nero was part of us, as was Kelly Nichols, and of course Gloria Leonard, who has passed before Candace. And we have two honorary members, Barbara Corrales and Linda Montano. And I'd like to, Barbara and Linda couldn't be here tonight, but Barbara was going to bless people with the very qualities we loved and admired most in Candace. And after asking a lot of your friends, these are the traits that came up most often. So I bless you with Candace's grace, love, and intelligence, her clarity of purpose, her passion, her vision for what was different, and her vision for what was to come, for her pioneer spirit, her creative inspiration, and her warmth. I bless you with her ability to use time wisely, to give time to everything, to savor every bite, to sleep late, to stay up late. I bless you with her excellent time management, with her ability to keep journals and to write a lot, to be decisive, to know what you want, to realize every living moment to its outermost boundaries, to be the transitional piece between us and the sun, to be a girly girl, to care about everything, people, performers, the planet, all of its creatures. So you, like her, should care about your work, your relationships. To bless you all with Candace's soft, sweet love, with creativity, with the willingness to forgive, with her impeccable style, her good business sense, her love for animals, her fierce feminism, her encouragement for each of us to be and realize ourselves, her inclusiveness and endless and ancient wisdom, her elegance and class, her example of mindfulness, her sense of justice and fairness. And in closing, I'd like to leave you with Candace's words that she said to Ashley and April Spicer. There's no time to waste. Whatever it is you want to do it now. Oh, it isn't going to be easy, but that doesn't ever stop me. There's only one Candida Royalle, that's for sure. It's really been a colorful life indeed. Thank you, Candace.
Thank you, Jane. Thanks, Annie. All right. Thanks, Zach. This is a picture of Candace in her front yard in Mattituck. Mattituck is a tiny town on the north shore of Long Island, and that's where Candace spent her final days. But more than that, she bought that house for herself in about 2006 or 7, with the help of Mary Dorman, who guided her to do that, Joanne, Wind, who found the house for her. And she spent many warm months there in Mattituck. In the last year of her life, she spent her final days there. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about those final days because I know you all loved Candace so much. And when someone passes, we always kind of want to know, was it easy? Did they suffer? I had the privilege of being there about, a month. Candace had asked me to be her healthcare proxy, and, of course I said yes. And then she asked me to be her executor. And, oh yeah, I said yes. It's like, I didn't know what this was going to be about, but I said yes. And at the end of July, she was in the hospital. She went to Memorial. And when she came out of the hospital, she came back to Mattituck. McKelly and I were with her, and she like very cheerfully told me, oh yeah, they've enrolled me in hospice. And she was like so matter of fact about it. And I thought, I wonder if she gets what hospice is, you know? But you know, Candace was just so determined to just keep going on living. So when we got back to Mattituck near the end of August, then she was just sure she was just going to continue to put on some weight and get strong and move back to the city in the fall and you know, bring her cats with her. And I went out, the last week I went out on a Sunday. I got there and this was the Sunday just before we got to Memorial Day weekend. Labor Day weekend. So I got there, Jorge had been there because we'd made up a schedule by that time of friends who would go out and spend some time, because even Candace admitted that she needed some help at that point. So Jorge was there. There was delicious food in the fridge because for Mattituck, that was her Garden of Eden. Good food, that was Candace loved good food and fresh fruits and vegetables. And, you know, this was a place she made for herself, but also she shared it with all of us. Jorge had food in the fridge. He was leaving. We made our goodbyes. Jorge had been her friend in San Francisco, another one of Candace's friends for many, many years. When I got there, I thought, you know, I wasn't sure if this would be her final week, because people had told me like, oh, she lost so much weight, but I looked at her face, and yeah, her body was certainly slimmer. She'd lost weight in her body, but her face was so alive, you know, and she was so full of life that Sunday. And so I thought, okay, well, guess we're going on. And, you know, people wanted to come and visit, but she said, you know, one person at a time. And she didn't want to be overwhelmed. I said, okay. And so then Monday was kind of just spent doing, Monday was spent more. I want to get these days in order because I don't want to miss some. Oh yeah, the chores, which Candace, until that time, she'd been doing all this. She had a beautiful garden. She took care of the garden, the cats, the compost, you know, feeding the birds. She did all of this. She was like incredible. McKelly had said, why doesn't she get a housekeeper, you know? She loved doing these things. This house, that place, it kept her alive. She was so smart about her priorities, what she wanted. You know, she was so smart about her time, yet she seemed to have time for everything. So Monday was chore day. Tuesday, Mary Dorman and Virginia Reith came, and we talked health things. She spoke to her doctor and learned that no, she didn't have to be near Memorial Sloan Kettering, that this was hospice and she would be at home. And I think that's when, you know, she really realized, like, okay, I can just relax. I don't have to worry about getting back into the city. And I guess Sunday night, I almost forgot, that first Sunday night, Jill Spoon and Reverend John, her man, came to, Reverend John had been a chaplain for a long time, so they were on their way to a wedding. And so John came and talked to Candace about what hospice was about, and because Candace really wanted to know what happens next. You know, she was in a more spiritual place. Then Jill went off to get all dressed up, gussied up for this wedding, and she came out, and Candace got up, started taking pictures of them, you know, like there they were, the beautiful couple on their way to this wedding, and she's giving Jill directions of where to put her face in the light, and let's see those earrings, you know, she had bride and groom earrings. So she was still very active, you know, and it's like, okay, you know, we're going on, right? So now, a couple days later, now we're at Wednesday, and they kind of switched her meds. So she was on stronger meds now, and she took this med and she would just be like lying there, like sleeping, but very soundly. But then she woke up. At one point, I was in her room. She woke up, and meanwhile, when she was sleeping, I found all these albums, and I started looking through them, and I was like, as Diane said, it was amazing, these albums that she had. And she woke up and I said, Candace, this is an amazing archive. And so I took the book over and got in bed, and we started looking at it together. And there was a family photo, and she said, oh, and she started writing with a pen. She said, oh, this is Joe Jr. And she starts writing, you know, the name of this cousin. But meanwhile, it's coming out a little scriggly because, you know, she's on heavy meds. And so she said, I guess when they see this name, they're going to know I was pretty out of it when I wrote this one. So, and then she said, Veronica, I'm really glad that you see what I have, what I've collected, because you're going to be this. You're going to have to care for this. This is going to be your charge. So Thursday, Liz and Frank, who are here tonight, they came and they made a beautiful meal of filet of sole and sweet potatoes. And Candace, that was her last really full meal. And Frank's wife his first wife had died from ovarian cancer. So Candace wanted to ask him questions. So she asked him questions about what it was like for his wife at the end, and then she had been staying up in the bedroom upstairs, and I kind of wanted to get her downstairs into have a hospital bed downstairs because it would have been safer and easier. And she's like, no, I don't want to be like my grandma in the living room. She was like so determined to live her life the way she wanted. So, but they helped me move the furniture around just in case. I said, even if we just move the furniture around and get this bed in, so we'll have another bed. So if we have company, which we were going to have, there'll be an extra bed here. So, okay, so that was her. And then it was a day when she was on, we had to stick to a medication schedule. So we were all talking, and she was just sitting on the sofa, and she wasn't saying much at that point because it was late in the night, but she was just so enjoying listening to the conversation. She did not want to go up to bed, she was so gregarious. She always wanted to be with people. And so finally we had to take her upstairs because the medicine was really going to hit. So we had to make sure she was lying down when it did. So we took her upstairs, and then Friday the hospital bed arrived downstairs, and it was kind of clear that Candace was declining, and so then I sent out the word of that she was declining, and then Cynthia came, and Diane came, and Gary came, and and Larry came, and more people. Then people came. Her cousin Shar came, and the cousins. So they all arrived, and then we had a full house, and so then it was finally left to the Sunday night before Labor Day, and as we were going to sleep, Shar and Cynthia and I all felt, we had now a night nurse, and we felt like this was going to be the night Candace passed. We just felt it. And so we asked the night nurse that if she saw anything or heard anything to please wake us up, because, we wanted to be there. And all the time, people had been going to her bed and talking to her and visiting with her. And so in the middle of the night, at about 4:30 in the morning, the night nurse called. She said, Victoria, like so many people getting my name wrong. So, Victoria. So I woke up the others, and we went down, and we just started talking to Candace. Her eyes were wide open. She was looking into a corner of the room, which, as her former femme partner, Lauren, who started femme with her many years ago, actually turned out to, she's now doing work as a guide for people who are passing. So she was also guiding Candace through the last couple of years, talking to her about passing and about all of these things. And when I told Lauren, when I told Candace, told her about Candace's passing, she said, where was she looking? And I said, well, she was looking into the corner of the room. And she said, well, that's where they come from. I said, what do you mean? She goes, that's where the guides come from to lead someone away. That's where I said, okay, well, that's where she was looking. So then her eyes kind of, got her eyes lowered. Suzanne had sent her former assistant, Suzanne, had sent a beautiful Tibetan chant, and we started playing that. And we just continued to tell her how much we loved her, and and that she was safe, and to look to the light. And then her eyes just got low, and she passed so peacefully. so peacefully. In fact, the nurse at first wasn't even sure. We had to check, and then we called the hospice. But she passed very, very peacefully. And the name of this cousin
said,
but meanwhile,
good
it's
she
coming
was
out a
with
little
her time.
scriggly because she's on
And
heavy
she
meds, and so she
really-
said, I guess when they see this name, they're
did
going to know I
everything
was
she had
pretty
to do
out
in
of it when
terms
I
of her
wrote this.
cancer. But
So,
she
and then
really
she said, Veronica,
put
I'm really
cancer in
glad that
its
you see
place.
what I have, what I've
She
collected.
continued to
Because,
live
you're
for
going
the
to be
5 years
you're
that
gonna
she
have
had
to care
ovarian
for
cancer.
This.
Cancer just had its place,
But she continued to live, and that lesson
Thursday,
in time
Liz
is
and
such
Frank,
a
who
lesson
are here
for me.
tonight,
And
they
it's
came
not
and
only about time. I really understood, and Jorge said this too when I got there that night. He said she's so grateful. Everything he was doing, she said thank you, and I realized that Candace, a great attribute was gratitude. She didn't take anything for granted. She didn't take people for granted. Going through her files, I see the long letters she would write in response to people, beautiful letters. She kept journals, really going over the times of her day. And I understand now, and I see how grateful she was for every minute, how she never expected anything due her. She was just grateful, and she continued to work and to be grateful for every moment of the day. And that's, for me, the lesson that I want to carry with me from my dear friend Candace. And I realize I want to thank you, Candace, for this gift of asking me to be your executor, because I realize that it's going to give me an extra closeness, keep me close, for a very long time. I love you. I miss you. I'm grateful to you. Bless you. Bless you, Candace. Candace Vidala, Candida Royalle. Thank you.
So Linda Mary Montano writes, that was beautiful, V. Thank you. Dear Candace, I have a fond memory of you and I dancing so lovingly and closely at Veronica and Stu's wedding. I could feel the power of your love as we sang so softly and sweetly together in each other's ears to my funny Valentine. Tonight, all of us here, that's all of us, will sing again a sweet love song to you, and it goes like this. So Linda wants us to hold our warm hands on our hearts, and then we will all sing softly and real slowly and freely and romantically and with great tenderness these words. We're going to breathe in and we're going to go, we love you, Candace, and we feel your nurturing love. Again, breathe in. We love you, Candace, and we feel your nurturing love. One more time. We love you, Candace, and we feel your nurturing love.